Hi student, how are you? Today we will discuss what is the acid and what is the base and what is the salt, and its related topic is conjugate acid and conjugate bases, and also we will discuss some parts of electrolytes. Okay, there is two electrolytes, one is strong electrolyte and one is weak electrolyte. So let's start the topic acid and bases. Okay. When someone asks me, tell me what is acid and what is bases, so I think about, because acid and bases can be defined in four way. Okay, so we will discuss each of way, and four different way we can say what is acid and what is bases. Okay, there is four concept, they will discuss their different way in acid and bases definition. Okay, let's start with one by one. Okay, so first is Arrhenius concept. So what Arrhenius said that? Arrhenius said that first is Arrhenius concept. Okay, so what Arrhenius said? Arrhenius said that acid is a substance, or acid is a hydrogenous substance which will dissociated in aqueous solution to form H plus ion. Okay, and base is a molecular substance which will dissociated in aqueous solution to produce OH minus ion. Okay, so look what Arrhenius said. Arrhenius said the definition of acid, that acid is a substance that dissociated in aqueous solution. Mind it, in which solution? Aqueous solution, to produce H plus ion. Okay, so acid is a substance that dissociated in aqueous solution to produce H plus ion. This is the concept of Arrhenius, and this is the definition of acid by Arrhenius concept. Okay, so look at one example. If we take an acid, an example of Arrhenius concept, this is HCl. HCl dissociated. Okay, HCl dissociated to produced H plus plus Cl minus. Mind it, in aqueous solution. Okay, so only H plus will produced, not any other, not Na plus, not Br plus, not Cl plus, not Cl minus, anything. Okay, so only H plus will produced. This is called acid. So acid is a hydrogenous substance or molecule which will dissociated in aqueous solution to produce H plus ion. Okay, so this is the example of acid. So look at the another example. This is nitric acid, HNO3. HNO3 also dissociated in aqueous solution to produce H plus and NO3 minus. So here also HNO3 dissociated to produce H plus. So HCl is also a acid, and in HNO3 is also a acid according to Arrhenius concept. So are you understand? Hope you will understand the thing very well. Okay, so now we will discuss the concept of base. What Arrhenius said about the bases. Okay, So what Arrhenius said? The definition of base. Basis is a substance that dissociated in aqueous solution to produce OH minus ion. So what Arrhenius said? Base is a substance which will dissociated in aqueous solution to produce OH minus ion. So okay, so this is the definition of base according to Arrhenius concept. So are you understand Arrhenius, what said Arrhenius about the bases? Okay, so now take a example of this kind of basis. What is the example? It is very simple example, sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide dissociated in aqueous solution to produce Na plus OH minus. So OH minus is produced in aqueous solution. So this Arrhenius said about the bases. Okay. So now we will discuss another concept of acid and bases. What is the concept? This is the Bronsted-Lowry concept. So at first we will discuss the Arrhenius concept. Now we will discuss the Bronsted-Lowry concept. It is the different concept than Arrhenius. Okay. So now we will discuss the Bronsted-Lowry concept of acid and bases. Bronsted-Lowry concept. So what Bronsted-Lowry said about acid and bases? Okay. So what Bronsted-Lowry said about acid and bases? Bronsted-Lowry said that acid is a proton donor and base is a proton acceptor. Okay. So what Bronsted-Lowry said? Bronsted-Lowry said that acid is a proton donor and base is a proton acceptor. Okay. What said? Acid is a proton donor and base. What said about base? Base is a proton acceptor. Okay. So acid is a proton donor and base is a proton acceptor according to Bronsted and Lowry. So now take an example. What is acid and bases according to Bronsted-Lowry? Okay. So if we will take an example, HCl plus NH3, the formation is ammonium ion NH4 plus Cl minus. Okay. So HCl here act as a acid and ammonia act as a base and HCl act as a acid. Okay. So HCl act as a acid and ammonia act as a base. Okay. So Bronsted-Lowry said that acid is a proton donor. So HCl act as a proton donor. Proton is H plus donated to ammonia and ammonia after accepting this proton formed ammonium ion. Okay. So ammonia after acceptance the H plus ion produced ammonium ion. Okay. So ammonia act as a base because ammonia accept a proton and HCl donate a proton. Okay. So this is an example of Bronsted-Lowry concept. Okay. Now we will discuss the Lewis concept. Okay, it is the totally different concept than Arrhenius, than Bronsted-Lowry. So what Lewis said about acid and bases? Okay, so now the concept is Lewis concept. Lewis said that, what said about acid? Lewis said that acid is a electron pair acceptor. What said? Acid is a electron pair acceptor. So what Lewis said? Acid is an electron pair acceptor and base is a electron pair donor. What said? Base is a electron pair donor. Okay, so now look at this definition. Acid is an electron pair acceptor, base is an electron pair donor. So if we will take an example of acid and bases, what is kind of example? So if we will take ammonia, ammonia has a pair of electron, and if we will take BF3, okay, if we will take BF3, okay, so here ammonia donate this electron pair to bromine, to boron. Ammonia donate this electron pair to boron, form is the formation is this adduct will formation. So ammonia act as a base and BF3 act as a acid, because BF3 accept a pair of electron from ammonia and ammonia donate a pair of electron to BF3. So according to Lewis concept, ammonia act as a base and BF3 act as a acid. Okay, so now we will discuss the Lax-Flood concept of acid and bases. Okay, so what Lax-Flood said? Lax-Flood concept. What Lax-Flood said? Lax-Flood said that acid is an oxide ion acceptor. What Lax-Flood said? Acid is an oxide ion acceptor and base is an the reverse, that is oxide ion donor. What is the base is an oxide ion donor and acid is an oxide ion acceptor. Okay, so now if we will take an example, look at this definition, and now we will take an example. The example is calcium oxide plus SiO2, silicon dioxide. The formation is that CaSiO3. So calcium oxide and silicon dioxide. Silicon dioxide accept oxide ion from calcium oxide. So silicon dioxide act as an acid and calcium oxide act as a base. So this is the Lax-Flood concept. Okay, so if we go another part of this concept, this is the oxide ion acceptor and oxide ion donor and formation of this compound by this and this. Okay, so what we will discuss, what is discussed till now? The discussion is 4 concept we discuss. First concept is Arrhenius concept, and second concept is Bronsted-Lowry concept, third concept is Lewis concept, and fourth concept is Lux-Flood concept. So 4 different concepts, they define acid and bases in different method. Okay, and we will discuss the 4 different example of acid and bases. Okay, so hope you will understand the thing very well. Okay student, now we will discuss the more details of acid and bases and another part of acid and bases, that is the conjugate acid and conjugate base. Okay, so what is the conjugate acid and what is the conjugate base? So what is the conjugate acid and what is the conjugate base? Conjugate acid and conjugate base. Conjugate acid formed when a base, say like ammonia, it is a base, and when a base accept a H plus, the formation is ammonium ion. This is the base and this is the conjugate acid of this base. Okay, so what is the conjugate acid? This is the conjugate acid which will form a basis. So this is a base. When this base accept an H plus ion, the product will be conjugate acid of these bases. And what is the conjugate basis? When an acid, say like HCl, when an acid HCl will dissociated to form H plus plus Cl minus. Okay, when an acid will dissociated to form H plus and OH minus, the formation is H plus and Cl minus. Okay, HCl will dissociate to form. This negative ion is the conjugate base of this acid. So HCl is acid and Cl minus is the conjugate base of HCl. Okay, so now if we will define the conjugate acid and conjugate bases in one line, what will be the definition? Look, this is magic. Okay, so in one line we can say that acid equal to conjugate base plus H plus. Okay, so acid equal to conjugate base plus H plus and base equal to base plus H plus form conjugate acid. Okay, so this is the one liner definition of conjugate bases and conjugate acid. Okay, now another important part of the conjugate and conjugate basis and conjugate acid, when will strong conjugate acid and strong conjugate base formed and weak conjugate acid and weak conjugate bases formed. If this acid is strong, look at this acid is strong, then the formation of conjugate base will be weak. This is reversible, vice versa. And if this basis is weak, the formed conjugate acid is strong. This is weak, this is strong, this is strong, this is weak. Similarly, if this is strong, this will be weak, and this is weak, this will be strong. I hope you will understand the conjugate basis and conjugate acid. Now we will discuss next part, that is electrolyte. Okay. Electrolyte. Electrolyte are two type. One is strong electrolyte and another is weak electrolyte. So when we say that strong electrolyte, this is mean not strong. This is mean when an electrolyte completely dissociated. Okay, so when an electrolyte completely dissociated, this is called strong electrolyte. Okay, this is called strong electrolyte. This is called strong electrolyte. When an electrolyte completely dissociated, this is called strong electrolyte. What is the example of strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte? This is the strong acid and strong bases. They will completely dissociated. Okay, so strong acid and strong bases completely dissociated. Okay, so this is the example of strong electrolyte, that is NaOH, HCl. This is the example of strong electrolyte. And what is the weak electrolyte? When an electrolyte does not dissociated completely, that is partially dissociated. Okay, so when an electrolyte partially dissociated, this is called weak electrolyte. What is the example? This is the acetic acid. Acetic acid is a weak electrolyte. So CH3 COOH, this is dissociated to form CH3 COO acetate ion and H plus. This is the weak electrolyte and this is the strong electrolyte. Okay, so next day we will discuss after this topic. Okay, I hope all of you understand. Okay, if anyone trouble to understand this topic, please comment. Okay, we will discuss more and deeply. Okay, thank you.